you well. Yeah, I do you well. I do you well.
Good morning, Labour Roots, and good morning to all of the comebacks watching from the far you page. Welcome to another episode of Political Hard Talk. I am your host, none other than the greatest Labourite alive. Now guys, so the Finsac report dropped yesterday. We haven't really gotten a chance to go through it. Me myself haven't really gone through it, you know, but we hope so we can go through it today on the live, providing, you know, so we can get on two competent person and we can go through it properly and see live in living color, see what really go on. The PNP them already start say there is nothing in it. I haven't gone through it yet personally myself, so we are go. I try to download it right now as we speak, guys. Because me did kinda rush and me never get to really look into it. See? So we are trying and sort out the right now. Give me a second. I'm go and do a shout out meanwhile. Father that night, big up yourself, you know. Samara, big up yourself. K Rosie, big up yourself. Jennifer Jones, God bless Nally. Bloom, Dayan, Judith, Father Demi, big up yourself. Trace, me see you. A Official, J&J Goat Haven, big up yourself. God's Child, big up yourself. Z Milan, big up yourself. Anybody else I'm gonna call, big up on yourself. I can't say other people did it, but on your name now pop up. See? Hold on, I want to go through some shoutouts from YouTube as well. See? So Anthony Smester from YouTube, big up yourself. Patricia Howell, big up yourself. Claude Brown, big up yourself. Anne-Marie Foster, big up, you know. Christine Reed, big up yourself every time. Maris Reed, big up yourself. Naro Brats, big up yourself. Positive View, or Positive Wife Style, big up yourself every time. See? Sanja Atkinson, big up yourself. Krishana, big up yourself as well. Sean Powell, big up yourself. Father Steady, big up yourself as well, my G. Passion Paradise, big up yourself. Barbara Johnson, big up yourself. Donna, big up yourself. See, a whole heap of people over YouTube, guys. Whole heap. Anybody know hear their name, big up on yourself. And you give another shout out another time. Saying Father Strength, good morning. But we are going through the timeline of Finsac. See? So in 1986, there was a rapid financiation, if I say you pronounce it, of the economy, resulting in the expansion and creation of more financial entities. See? And removal of credit control. So in the 80s, under Edward Siaga, we would see a rapid expansion. Good morning, Kizzy darling. Big up for you gift them. See? Everybody will send me a heart, me big up on yourself. See? So in 1986, we would have seen, you know, a rapid expansion of the Jamaican economy, resulting in lots of financial institutions moving in Jamaica. So after the 70s, a lot of businesses would have left Jamaica, would have closed. Some factories would have closed. A lot of financial institutions was closed. Jamaica was on its knees in the 1970s. See? In 1980, we would have take back government and Edward Siaga would have sought to start rebuilding our finances and rebuilding our economy. Right? So by 1986, the economy started to flourish. Right? By 1981, by 1991, sorry, so 89, the People's National Party would have won back power. Right? So after they won power in 1989, sorry, by 1991, they liberalized the Jamaican dollar. So we would have seen the liberalization of exchange rate resulting in massive inflow of foreign exchange without adequate supervisory and regulatory control. Consequently, high inflation and the depreciation of the dollar by 1981. So when Edward Siaga left office in 1989, you would have got $1 US to $5 Jamaican. That is how the Jamaican dollar was still. It wasn't sliding. It was stable. See? By 1994, we see the first institution put under temporary management by the Ministry of Finance due to insolvency. So, the first company gone in a bankruptcy, we have to say by 1994. See? All along, you see all of this time, Golden and Peter Bunting and all of them are lurk. And I lick them chaps. See? By 1995, which is a year after that, see, Incorporation of Financial Institution Service, FIS, to implement the provisions of the scheme of arrangement in respect of two failed financial institutions. So two institutions fail and the government decides that them are go try and put them together to save them. But because they did not put on back the they never have no regulation in the system basically, guys. See? And money was floating around. And we know what happened one time too much money in the market. It raised inflation. See, because by 1991, Jamaica no longer have any kind of, well, by 1994, Jamaica no longer have any kind of, what would I call it now, industry. Backside start go under. Agriculture start go under. Because we end up with a man we call himself Percival James Patterson, who decides say everything must be about finances. He start neglecting all other sectors. So we don't have nothing for hold the dollar to, for peg the dollar to, we don't have no physical commodity. See? And this is where the dollar started sliding. See? So by 1997, which is 2 years after them put two financial institutions together to try to save them. By 1997, the Financial Sector Adjustment Company was established. And this is what you're looking at on the screen. The Finsac was established. Can anybody tell me what Finsac is? And by the way, guys, feel free to jump in our box. Meanwhile, we go through this. Can anybody? By 1998, see, Jamaica Deposit Insurance Corporation, JDIC, established to strengthen deposit taking regulatory framework. See? So, Finsac started in late 96. By 1997, they would have established Finsac. Right? Finsac was basically created by the government to buy back debt, but to buy debt that they created. See? Because they are the one who was in charge of interest rates at the time. The Bank of England was not, the Bank of Jamaica, sorry, was not under any regulatory management. See? And by the way, we wouldn't see any kind of management in the Bank of England regulatory wise until 2016. See? So the government could have just move in a bank at Jamaica and do whatever they want or just say the word. So Finsac was largely due to government mismanagement, if you don't understand what is going on. By 2001, we see Financial Service Commission established to further enhance Jamaica's regulatory landscape. See? And by 2002, Finsac closed operations. Me still ask, anybody can tell me what Finsac is and why was it created? Me just explain it to you, but I want to say if you not listen. Feel free to jump in the box like me say. Me say Travis, me say Daddy Strength. Me say couple learned people. Hugh Richard is also here. Feel free to jump in the box too. So the government of Jamaica now, at the time, under Percival James Patterson, see, they would have destroyed purposefully the financial sector. And the reason why they did that, the reason why they purposefully destroyed the financial sector is because it was Siaga's legacy. It was created by Siaga. See? And Jamaica was blossoming because of it. So the Jamaican government at the time, instead of building on the legacy of Siaga, they purposefully set out to destroy the legacy of Siaga. And we know the history of the PNP. They have sought for many years for move people out, burn people out, whatever the Labour Party left in the pipeline, them completely ignore it and did not continue with it. So that kind of caused, a downturn. So money would have left to do things, to allocate to do things, proper things. And then when Labour Party left government, they just ignore it. So for many years, Jamaica didn't grow. This is the MO of the PNP. They're always behaving in this manner. See? You see how them say, some things when Andrew do in them pipeline, them not do that. When them come in a power, if Andrew left something, even if it start already, then discontinue it. Waste of taxpayer money. See? And this is why Andrew is the best Prime Minister Jamaica have seen. Because if him take office and him see something in there that taxpayers' money was already allocated for, he would have continued with it. Because, Jamaica is bigger than JLP and PNP, and the show must go on. See? That is Trent. Can you tell me what Finsac was, sir?
God have mercy, my boy. Oh, my explanation to Finsac, which I would say, I keep on telling people that the purpose by which it was created for, because a lot of people thought Finsac was created because for the all of the financial sector that was to bail out the financial sector then. That's what they thought it was supposed to do.
That is what Hugh Richard always explained. That's why I always say Finsac is a good thing, but that's not what it was created for.
If you notice, when we say that what they thought it was for.
Yes.
But if you look at the ultimate result of Finsac, so what would you say about the ultimate result? In my estimation, when I look at the whole Finsac situation, the Finsac was designed, in my estimation, because I have to look at the result of it, what it has caused, how many lives have been that went down and people lose their life and all them something there. And the Finsac, it means then that it was designed because the government has taken away, has robbed the economy. Look at it now. The government robbed the economy, caused the economy to collapse, sell out here Jamaica, sell out this, sell out everything, right? Now, Finsac, there was used now to try to recover, to let the private sector organization pay up some of the debt that the government has caused Jamaica. That was what Finsac is for. Yeah, to try get money. That's why the rest of the business, them 144 business or 44 business collapse, you know. Because they have to get the Finsac take away their business to sell it to somebody else so that the PJ Patterson and the rest and Omar Davis can get some more money to keep paying the debt, and it could never work. The policy, that's why I keep on saying, the policy that is created by a PNP government is to benefit a handful of people. That was who did Finsac benefit? It benefit Mark Golden. It benefit the DB&G. You understand me? I say, who will it sweetheart deal run by reason of Finsac? So it was not created as what people think. That when you listen to Nigel Clark, when Nigel Clark was putting it into perspective, you know, right? I said the same thing from in the 90s, brother. I walked the street of Jamaica shedding tears because when Finsac was introduced in Jamaica, you know, and when I look and see what the rot and the whole of Jamaica was going down in because of Finsac. And I am saying to myself, from way back when, I'm saying, this thing was created to rob business people. Eh? How is it that them under Finsac, them take away your house and tell you, say, boy, you borrow $5 million. You pay up as much as 25 million. Yeah, and you still them take away your house and sell it for 3 million and turn around and tell you say you owe 50 million.
So here what them do now, strength.
I mean, Bridget, look at the result of it and then we can determine what it was created for.
May I go through a witness statement, you know, but before I go to your witness statement, I gotta say this. Finsac was created to pay off the debt of Jamaica. That how me view it.
Thank you very much, sir. Me thank you very much. Thank you very much to John. Thank you very much to John.
And the way how them set out to doing it, right? Them decide say boy, them set up people have a broad shoulder. So we're gonna put up interest rates.
Jesus Christ.
And try recoup some money. Right? But they knew that some people would have got destroyed. Maybe not to the extent where them thought, but a lot of people got destroyed. You know, may I go through a witness statement? Good morning, Father Chaps.
Blessed, brother. Blessings.
So may I go through a witness statement, so now bear with me. Saying and them say this is witness statement of debtor 10. So, and I quote, I reside and have my true place of abode and postal address
Patrick City.
in the parish of St. Andrew. Due to injuries sustained in a motor vehicle accident in 2001, I am disabled and I am currently unemployed. I am married. In or about 1992, I was self-employed in the fabric business. The business was a good one, and I was able to support my wife and children from the earnings of the business. I own my own home at so and so, where I live with my family. The title was registered at so and so, where I live with my family. And the register book of titles, and it was registered in the names blank and blank as joint tenants. There were a mortgage on the home for blank with interest to the benefit of National Commercial Mortgage and Trust Limited. Sorry. I tendered as an exhibit a copy of the certificate of title registered at blank of the register book of title that I was hereafter referred to as blank. The title discloses that my home in which myself and my family lived for 25 years was sold pursuant to power of sale contained in mortgage number blank. In July 1992, I took a loan of blank from Eagle Merchant Bank of Jamaica Limited and gave a mortgage over the title as security for the said loan with interest. The original rate of interest was 45% per annum and an add-on on an add-on basis. Yes, I tendered as an exhibit a copy of the mortgage instruction numbered blah 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 registered on the 5th of July 1992 against the title. I used the money from that loan to purchase stock for resale in my business. The business continued to do well, and I was able to service my obligation to the bank. And it goes on. There's a lot of things. I want kind of get in some of my money them. See? Let me just skip out the right and tell you this. I relied upon the advice given to me by Blank and did not draw down all the money available under the loan. So they never take all my money available from the loan. To the best of my recollection, the following are the amount that I received in cash on that loan. October 1994, 20,000. November 1994, 100,000. February 95, 80,000. And December 1995, 250,000. So that is a total of 450,000. And you can see what me I allude to now. I want to go down to see how much that 450,000 end up turning into.
Okay.
The document long, so I skip through to see how much them say the person who at the end. Yes, Father Chaps. Meanwhile, me I go through here so you can give a your illustration, you know? Father Chaps. You the job asleep?
No, man, I'm here. I'm waiting on you, man.
Yeah, man. So meanwhile, me go through this thing and you can give a your breakdown of what Finsac was. You know?
Man, remember, I know the John, this Finsac thing here is a situation that I have been at this for years, my brother. And one might wonder why was I just for years at Finsac, talking about Finsac, highlighting Finsac, reminding people of Finsac. And it is for the said reasons that Dr. Nigel Clark would have outlined. Finsac was a significant, Finsac could have done a significant damage to Jamaica's financial sector. And when I say significant, I mean significant. 40% of GDP wiped out. And not even Hurricane Charlie, Hurricane Ivan, Hurricane Gilbert.
If you put three of them disasters together, it can't compare to Finsac.
Nothing compare. If you even put the 51 storm where Port Royal sunk, it did not wipe out 40% of our GDP.
Exactly, sir.
A global pandemic in the magnitude of Corona, COVID, did not wipe out 40% of our GDP. Took more lives. Didn't wipe out 40% of our GDP. Finsac, on the other hand, was targeted and it delivered full force as was intended. And you mentioned something about Finsac. Let me put it in context because a lot of people sometimes don't understand. When the financial sector collapse, and let me just put this footnote in there before that. There were instances where irregularities existed within the banks. And bank managers and loan providers were behaving in a very abnormal and dishonest way. But that is what happens when you deregulate an economy. When you remove regulations, especially financial regulations, you open yourself up for that sort of problem. And the problems did come down like rain. So those persons who would have taken out loans at us, listen to the percentage, 45% interest rate.
Can you imagine taking out a loan today at 45%?
Just think about it, man. Let it soak in your brain, man. Just think about it. 45% interest. It means that the interest on your loan is close to half the amount that you borrow. How can that be sustained? Cannot.
Mighty God.
Cannot. And Finsac was created now to fix the problem that existed, because the purpose of Finsac was really to take these loans, look at them, look at the borrowers, and see how best you can get them back on their feet, because this thing is hurting the economy. And the quicker you can put it back together so the economy keep moving again, it's the better it is for us all.
Chaps. So you Richard, just say, who would you blame for that? If deregulation would have come from government, and if government put in controls, right? Because while the bank wasn't regulated, if the government never step in when they should and put in controls, it would have been a government issue. It would have been a government fault. That's who me blame.
The purpose of government is to regulate an economy.
Exactly.
Is to ensure that there are proper regulations in place to manage the economy. Those regulations were removed by the PNP when Michael Manley took office.
Exactly.
I remind Jamaica the other day that the three pillars that Michael Manley moved Jamaica in 1990-91 was deregulation, privatization, and liberalization. And those three policies proven to be a disaster. Liberalizing the Jamaican dollar, the US dollar, without adequate net international reserve cause a run.
Or any commodity if you peg it to.
Exactly. And then you have where the regulations.
Remember Mr. Siaga tell him about that before he
Well,
did it?
well, Mr. Siaga had warned him about not doing that.
All right.
And he went ahead and did it anyway.
Chaps, good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Dujan.
Good morning.
Morning, Daddy Strength. Chaps, the question I asked, who would you blame? Regardless of the regulation, anything government, I interest rate, regardless of that, who would you blame for a man? So I'm a businessman, going to borrow a loan at 45. We have that realistically,
Yeah, but you have to, but borrowing a loan at 40.
Chat to me and reason, Chaps.
No, but I want you to listen to me now. You ask a question.
Yeah.
Borrowing a loan at 45% has nothing to do with your ability to service the loan. I don't think anybody who borrowed money at the time had a problem in servicing the loan, because that is how the economy was moving. So if you listen to me carefully, Mr. Richards, and you need to educate people on this. If I go to the bank and I borrow a loan of $2 million, right? And my business plan is tailored to service that loan at 40%. I've done nothing wrong. My ability to service the loan based on my projection from my accountants It's perfect. As long as I'm doing the business, I can service my loan. Here is what happened to people like Meshach Willis and many other Jamaicans. They go in, they borrow at what is now regarded as ridiculously high interest rate. Nothing is wrong with that. What happened is that when the Bank of Jamaica, because they have a liquidity problem out there, decide to hike the interest rate to mop up the liquidity. And in doing so, those persons who would have borrowed at already a high interest rate. Now picture your accountant tell you, say, look, yeah man, you can borrow the $2 million at 40% because your balance statement suggests that the income that you're bringing in is sufficient to service the loan while you expand your business. Fine, you did the right thing. But when the policies of Dr. Omar Davis now drive that interest rate from 40%, not to 42, not to 43, but one time it jumped by 10 points. The first jump, I was told, that interest rate just moved like from 12 to 30, and then from 30 to 50,
And then 110.
and then from 50 to 80.
Chops, listen, Chops.
And these things are happening overnight, you know. Them
So
now,
that is a policy. That is a policy of the government that causes
chop
that.
reason. Me chop reason. Beg of meat. Me chop some. Me just if Chops whenever someone come now, can me Chops can get some. If I wrong me correct, even wrong me correct. Chops. If you borrow, you're the business plan, you're a businessman.
Yes.
Yeah. And you borrow an interest rate of 45%.
Yes.
Remember, you know, the first thing, you know, you have to make a markup of at least 65%, don't?
No. Your accountant would have already done your
No. Me asking for the profit to service the loan.
amortization sheet.
No, man. To make the profit that you can service the loan, it would have to be a 65% markup.
No,
So
not
the
necessarily.
goods-
Not necessarily, Hugh. Not necessarily.
Me say me can't
Because
explain.
listen, if you are going to expand your business, then as a businessman, you would have decided to reduce your profit margin in order to expand, because your focus is on expanding your business. You're not focused on profit.
All right, me could say we'll do it at 50%. We'll put that 50% markup. I have to do that, you know. I have to pay 45,000 interest, so 5% a year profit. All right, look at it this way, you know. Remember, you know, you're supposed to read everything, you know. You know what is compounding interest? You know
Yes, man, we know all of that. We know all of that. And
If
that is
you-
part of the
if you know
regulations
all
that
of
is wrong.
Yes, if you know all of that and you go borrow the money, sense when nobody put no gun in your head. At that time,
No. I think you're reasoning the thing wrong, Hugh. It's not a matter of whether or not you should or shouldn't borrow the money.
No, but nobody force you
if
to borrow it.
no. What I'm saying to you, if your accountant says to you that based on the model of your business, you are able to service that loan in order for your business to expand,
me can ask
then
a
you've done
question.
nothing wrong.
Me can ask a question, Hugh Richards and Chops.
Yeah,
So
man. I'm putting this and you ask the question. All right, that means say no. It's same sentiment. That means Usain Bolt did nothing wrong when him advised him to put in him money, can him get X amount of interest rate.
Yes, but was it in a regulated environment?
Yes.
Right? Have you seen? Let me ask you this, because you want to refer to Usain Bolt.
No, man.
And I don't want to refer to it because-
Me no want the Finsac. I said
No,
Finsac, me just
because I
like,
don't want to go there, so because I have not seen any amortization sheet for Usain Bolt payment and how the loan was structured. I don't see that.
The reason why I go to stuff, we just tell you, say, you see, if your advisor advise you to do something and you do it, you cannot blame the government because you know, say you're
No,
coming
but
out.
hold on, you,
you're
your advice. No, but you're wrong, because if your advisor advises to do something, if your advisor advise you that based on the laws of Jamaica, you can drive on the left-hand side going down the road, right? Based on the laws of Jamaica, your advisor tell you that. And the government get up overnight and change the rule and say you can only drive on the right-hand side.
The rules never changed, man. It was
Could,
always an interest rate policy. And when you borrow the
no,
money
but
at time,
you,
it was
you
compounding and
can't be
interest.
ridiculous. You
Just
cannot be
come back to
ridiculous.
my question now, gentlemen. What was
All
the
right.
borrowing like before Michael Manley and PJ Patterson took back government?
It was not an unregulated thing. Same way, you know, see, I'm going to change that interest rate to go.
So how was people living? How people was living and making life until then? So what happened?
You're saying that it was deregulated under Eddie Siaga?
All right. No. Listen
Okay.
me now.
I just want to make that clear.
Edward Siaga, Junior Siaga time. When these banks come up in an unregulated banking system. The banking sector was not regulated until 2002. Never in a Jamaica history.
Sir,
Let me tell you what was deregulated. The dollar. The dollar was deregulated. The dollar was deregulated. When the money start move, but not
then if the dollar,
everyone.
what run bank? What run bank?
no, this was the bank of
What the key
Jamaica.
ingredient in a bank?
Wait no man, chopper man. The Bank of Jamaica, the BOJ, was not regulated.
No, but
They're
I'm
never
asking you.
regulated.
But the
Yes.
dollar was,
The
right?
dollar, yeah, but you must not say that was not the interest rate.
But
That
I'm
was
asking you, what is the key ingredient in a bank?
The dollar.
money. No money.
Exactly. So
Well,
you
money-
control the dollar and the movement of dollar and how dollar is circulated in the country. You're basically controlling and regulating the
No,
bank.
I-
I
I'm not
understand, you know,
no. The
because
point I'm
what?
trying to get at
Hold
about
on,
when it- when Chopper
there are some
explained to them
good
that the
things
bank
that
was
came
not
out of
regulated
Finsac, you
in
know.
1980. The
Look,
bank, no,
there-
just tell them the
there
bank
are
was
some-
not regulated in 1980. The bank
There are
was
some
not. the first
positive
time-
things. Listen, there are some positive things that came out of Finsac, you know.
Thank you.
And some of the positive things that came
We
out
are
of
benefited
Finsac
today.
is,
We are
for
benefited
example,
today.
the FID,
Yes.
right? For example, the deposit insurance, where persons
Exactly.
who, if there's a collapse, because there
and the
could
most
still be a
important part,
collapse.
and
Dujon.
FSC was one of them.
Yes,
The
a
FSC
lot
were
of
regulated by-
regulation coming. You
Exactly.
can't in the insurance sector, the underwriting of insurance has to be done a particular way. So there's some
Exactly.
good things that came out of it. But let's not lose sight
No, we not.
of
That's
what
what I'm saying. Lose sight,
caused
no.
the problem, Hugh
But we
Richards.
know. Finsac, name them chopper. Lay the point more and just get across to these to the listeners them. Finsac, the banking sector was not regulated in the 1980s. The
My
banking
boss,
sector first time it
I'm
regulated
saying to you,
No,
why
we
we
not
didn't
talking
have a
about-
collapse in 1980, 81, all the way up to 89?
because-
Why did we have a collapse in 1992, 93, 94?
Mr. Segat pegged the dollar to the US. That is where
Okay,
the problem
so was it
No,
the removal of the pegging of the dollar,
Yes.
and that
Yeah.
put a pressure on the bank, correct?
Yes, but we're not
Right. So if the bank, which was fragile
Hello, can I say
already,
something 1 minute?
if the banking
the point.
sector, which you
Chopper,
and
you
I
the point.
can agree, had some fragility to it from in the 80s, and you know
Yes,
apply
okay, all right.
a liberalized dollar without insufficient net international reserve, isn't
That
that,
is that's where the problem
recipe
starts.
for disaster?
And
Yes,
any
that's where
further
the-
regulations.
That was where the problems. No.
So we
you
have
know?
to, look here. We have to take off the GLP, PNP hat off of
No,
this, you
man,
know.
Chopper, no, me and you know, Chopper. Me and you really understand this, you know, but we want the
No,
people
but-
like strength. You know, man, Chopper, more strength understand. So the dollar, the bank were not regulated in the
No, but
1980s.
Hugh, now you
That
disagree,
is
you know. Now you
insignificant to
disagree.
you here.
Hugh, here's where
So,
now you
Richard,
disagree.
that is not relevant here
A
because
part
it
of
wasn't
pegging
regulated.
the dollar, a part
Hold on,
of
Rupert.
controlling the flow of US dollars in Jamaica is a regulation, you know. Deliberalization or an unregulated or a regulated economy controls the dollar. The bank rely on money. Listen to me, you. I will not lose sight of the fact. Make we put politics to the side. Dr. Omar Davis and whomever was his advisor at the time
Blunder.
took a turn because after the dollar was liberalized by Michael Manley.
It was you small do that.
Yes,
Not
but
Omar,
remember,
it
you know,
was
remember
documentary.
Hugh Small was asked to pilot the liberalization process.
Exactly.
Hugh Small at one point disagreed with that. You remember? He
Not quite.
disagreed with it, you know.
So take Omar Davis' name out of the liberalization part.
All right. So when we get to the Omar Davis part of it now,
Omar
Omar
Davis come to
Davis
fix
is
it.
now trying to correct
Exactly.
something that
It was
existed
that.
under, I think it was in the U small era, somewhere thereabout,
Thank
right?
you. Thank you
And
very
in
much.
correcting that, you took a turn now for the worse because
No.
you took a decision to hike the interest rate because at the time the central bank was controlled by government.
Exactly.
And,
That is
and
exactly
still
what I
does.
said this.
And still does.
See? But when you try to say there was no regulation in the 80s, there was no Finsac in the 80s. So how did they manage? And
It was
and,
not
and the economy was growing.
Finsac. Dujan, Finsac was not the problem. Finsac is not and was not and still is not the problem.
Alright,
Finsac
how
was
come there
solid
was not a
development for this
financial
money.
sector collapse then in the 80s? How comes?
Huh?
You said the
Repeat.
dollar wasn't regulated. You said the banking system wasn't regulated in the 80s.
No, the
either.
banking was never.
There
The
wasn't
first of
a,
the banking sector. The
yeah,
first
but
of the
listen,
banking sector regulated Jamaica is 2002.
yeah, we
After all of
understand that. But
it.
what I say, it was being
You know,
managed because it was growing during the 80s.
Dujan, just like the subprime market, the subprime America, after that, they put it all of the regulation like Finsac, same thing happen. Same God Almighty thing happen. But I'm saying, if me I go borrow money at 65 and 45% interest rate, you can't expect government to bail me out. And my
No, but remember,
stupid.
so the people them you not understand.
You don't
Hello,
understand. You don't understand.
It was not
So,
a bailout,
hello.
you know. You
you don't
see,
borrow money at 65% interest
Richards,
rate?
get me
Anyway,
here for John first. Me
anyway,
now go
listen.
back into me here for John.
No, here the problem now.
Dujan.
Me I cut in because me no want nobody come disrespect. Me depend it to Chopper and Dujan, but Chopper gone, me I go when Chopper come up, me come. You have to reason the thing with people with understanding and
So let me ask
respect.
you a question for your go here, Hugh.
Yes, Dujan, yeah.
So between the financial year 2008 and 2009, the government would have allocated $107 million for the Finsac report. And 2012, 2013, there was no allocation. Why?
Because the parliament was told that the $150 million, not $150 million would complete the report.
But we
And
don't
bear
have
this,
a complete report.
bear this in mind. Bear this in mind. Bear this in mind. And bear this in mind. Finsac was put in place to bail out 87% of depositors of the money in the bank. That was the sole purpose of Finsac, not to bail out the 17,000 businesses and persons who borrow money at high interest rate. It was put in place to bail out the 87% of depositors like myself who had $70,000 then in NCB who never choose to borrow the money. And I'm 100. Notice, it's only 17,000 people in this report, for period of Finsac, and was more than over 1 million depositors, So listen now. So if 17,000 over 1 million depositors, you know what people was saved by Finsac? That's what Finsac was created for, not to bail out the rich man them. We're going to borrow money at high interest rate and compounding interest rate. Let us bear that in mind.
Finsac was created to really look at the assets that were collected by the Jamaica Redevelopment Foundation.
No, man.
Well,
Finsac,
not
Finsac brought
foundation.
no.
The
Finsac brought
banks
that
that
into
went
me.
down, all the
Yeah,
assets. Finsac was
Finsac
created
brought
to
that
look at
into
them,
me.
liaise with
But
the persons who were
we not chopper.
disenfranchised.
Papa, Finsac was the cause of the development thing.
Yeah,
Finsac
but I'm saying to
that
you,
into me. Yes.
yeah, and I agree. So I'm saying to you, they were created really to look at the assets that were affected by Finsac on the individuals.
So they could have get
And try
back to
to
40,000. So they could have
Yeah.
get back to $40
But
billion.
instead,
You
what
know?
we did, here's where Finsac went wrong,
We not chopper. Before you say
is
it,
when
listen.
we know instead of
The big I mean the chopper. Remember Finsac was farming, to get back the money where who on massive deposit. All right, let me tell you something.
the same thing that the FID is set up for,
Chopper, remember
right?
saying, Chopper, remember say them telling me and you have
Deposit
money.
insurance.
We remember, listen,
What the
remember
deposit
Richmond.
insurance came up with is what Finsac was supposed to do.
Yeah, but even a Chopper, remember
Is to
rich
rescue.
people.
Hold
Well,
on there,
depositors
hold
at a
on there, you
certain level.
Richard.
no, me just want to case up the chopper before. Too. Chopper, listen, remember say the rich man, well, all them people borrow money from the bank. A few million money them borrow. Poor people money, rich people borrow. They don't borrow rich man money.
They borrow
Poor
every
people.
money, man. Any money that is deposited in the bank. It's
But
not a poor man money.
most side of the 87% that we borrow, we bank we look 200 and we look $100. Full money them borrow. There's a Finsac come for help. Finsac never come for help a rich man.
No. You get it all wrong, you Richard. But me not gonna say anything.
Then why
else
was
to
Ronnie
hear
Tweet?
from the
Why people
gentleman.
like Ronnie Tweet and others got significant bailout? Why? Paul Roberts and all these persons.
Come
Why?
on, man.
Yeah, but some jail people.
You Richard, me not think you Richard, you need to relax a little bit. This gentleman is here from a while and he has something very important
No,
to
but me
say.
not come for discuss with nobody. If I not me come for this with Chopper and
No,
DUJON'S.
but I know you want the funny live, brother. We're not discussing like that. You can't just take over the live and discuss with that person.
But you
You
cannot.
can't just discuss with that person because the fact of the matter is you hold already, you know, let go
No,
where you hold on, you know.
DUJON'S explain Finsac to you and you come up and get different explanation why DUJON'S be. That means you don't understand what DUJON'S say.
No. DUJON no need to explain Finsac to me. I
Anyway,
am going according to the result.
best of yourself,
Listen
you
to me.
make it
Hold on, Richard. Hold on, Mr. Richard.
Richard.
Listen to me, no, man.
Yeah.
Just listen, no, sir. Please. I am going according to the result that Finsac created, my brother. Not what you think the purpose of it was meant for. Because it never did go according to what it was meant for, my brother. And that you fail to understand. And that's why you keep on going around the bush. Because you want to put things in people's brain to say it was created for whatever reason. But it has never carried out the reason for which we think. Or for which Omar Davis put in the brain and in the mind of people to think what it was created for. That is the problem. So the result, you have to look at the result that you get from the service. Look at the result. If it was created for a particular reason to help people, to bail out people, yeah? To regulate the banking system. Why did we get the result that it created? Why we get that result? It has to be because of the policies created by the then government. So this man a come and attack him, he just attack and attack and attack and attack. He just have a talking point, but him not looking. You see, you have to look at the start. You talk about borrowing money at 45%. And Chops explain it that borrowing the money at 45% is not a problem because your business can finance that and still grow. But when you wake up one morning and realize that them add 10% more to that 45% and you start to pay 55% or 60%, right? And then you get up again one other day and you realize you start to pay the same loan at 80%. Why was that? This is the part of Finsac that we need to discuss. I get up, I borrow money, my business is now going on a collapse because they have to be funding the high interest, the extremely high interest rate. I have to be funding that and I have to be paying workers and I have to be paying the bills and all the overheads at the same time. Come on, man.
Strength, you're 100% correct. And I dropped off a while ago. I don't know what happened with the drop off. And you're perfectly correct because Hugh is trying to steer the conversation in that direction to make it seem as if this was not an issue with the policy of the government. It was an issue with the borrower. And that is very disingenuous to say that. Because when you say that, you say to people like Meshack Willis, who would have had an accountant who assessed his business, look at what he was doing, and say, yeah, man, if you borrow at 45%, right, and you're expanding, for example, in the case of Mr. Willis, he got a contract at Trelawney Beach Hotel to supply them with fabric for drapes and all that stuff. That's a huge contract, you know.
Yes.
That's direct money coming in. So he know exactly where the funding is coming from to service his loan. He had the contract in his hand. But when you go to your bed and you wake up tomorrow morning and you realize that what you had at 45% is now 75%, that is crazy. And the
Ridiculous.
problem I have with Omar Davis and the PNP at the time is that the purpose of government is to regulate the market and to stay on top of things. Any finance minister that worth the salt with them eat and them food, right, should have recognized that even though the interest rate or the policy that the document that you sign at the bank stipulates that the bank can hike interest rate, any smart finance minister would have called an emergency sitting of parliament and put something in place to prevent this bullshit.
Exactly.
From the first movement
Yes.
of interest
Yes.
rate from 12%
Yes.
to 24%, that massive jump,
Listen, man.
you should have acted, you should have gone to parliament and stopped that bleeding right there. Omar Davis and whomever his advisors were at the time sat on their black ass or white asses and allow,
Of which Mark Goni was a part.
he said it, not me, sat on their asses and allow a deregulated banking sector, which was deregulated under Michael Manley. Right? Eddie Siaga had the dollar pegged. You notice the argument a while ago about how the banks were deregulated?
Yes.
But yet the dollar was pegged. You notice when you ask Hugh Richards what is the main ingredient in a bank? If I know money, so when you control the money, you control the bank.
Exactly.
When you refuse to control the money,
By extension, you control the economy.
right? So we not going to debate that because that is already debated and done. What we are saying is that the PNP presided over a system that demolished 44,000 businesses. And we are happy that the JLT government saw it fit to release this transcript so we can put that argument to rest. We don't need to debate it. The reality is several banks in the country went under. Several businessmen and women were wiped out. Some of them committed suicide. You know what?
Yes.
And that is something that we can't hide.
That is what we need to look at, so the result
No,
of it.
Richard,
And
no,
the man are
Blair,
straight
none of them
away from
guys.
the result, you know.
None of them must be allowed to come on any live or any platform to pretend as though this never happened and the policies of the government was sound. It was not sound policies, and the truth is we have learned since Finsac. We've put in a lot of measures in place. I don't see a Finsac happening again because anytime there's any, matter of fact, the government have established now a range in terms of interest rate, and I think it's a range between, is it 4 to 6%, right? So, and then there is sufficient net international reserve to pump money into the market to prevent any run or any shock, internal shock to the system.
You
So we
remember,
have developed a resilient economy.
Just a minute. You remember when this government was trying to stabilize, put stability to the dollar, right? And from time to time, the dollar would have wanted to move. And what did he do? What did the government do? He has to go into the reserve and pump some billions into it to keep it where it is. You have to pump money in there because it was going. Because I remember now, you see, when the deregulation happened, you know, right? When you deregulate the thing and the thing keep moving, remember, you have to consider the poor, my brother. You have to put the poor on the table to say, if we allow the economy to collapse, to run away like that, what is going to happen to the poor people of the country? Are they going to afford their dinner? So we cannot just keep on looking at one side of the coin or looking at the top of the mountain. What about the valley? Which, if the water comes from the top of the mountain, is going to flood the valley. Think about the valley too. So it's not just looking at the high interest rate and looking at the people who borrowed it. You have to look at the consequences thereafter. And the policies that the government has put in place that causes the disaster, that causes the flood.
What kind of policy did Dr. Omar Davis, what did Omar Davis do, or what he did while he was finance minister to curtail or to prevent the collapse of the financial sector? He has not answered that question yet. He has a tendency of going out there to write op-eds to sort of make himself look good. But one thing I could tell you is that the persons who have been disenfranchised, the thousands of Jamaicans who live the Finsac era, will not forgive him. Just like the persons who were told to take 5 flights a day under Michael Manley will not forgive him either. The PNP has done more damage to this country than good, and they must never be allowed to come here and try to paint any picture to make it seem like what took place then was as a result of bad business management. No,
Bad debtors,
it was
bad debtors.
bad. It was poor economic policy.